Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Today is March 15th, 2022. It is 4:02 UTC, 12 p.m. EST. You guys can pretty much convert the rest from there. I think it's 12 p.m. EST. What's up, guys? You know this guy? You know this guy? How's the fam doing? What's up, Sand fam? Time in PST. It is 9 a.m. in PST. Let's look at the time in Austin, guys. Time in Austin. The time in Austin is 11 a.m., guys. Good morning. Why I say time is Austin? Because we are currently... Sandstorm is currently at South by Southwest. Here's our booth. You guys can come visit me at my booth at any time. Or I'll be at the booth. No, I won't be. Don't go there. I won't be at the booth. But here's a picture of me. You guys want to see me at the booth? I hope Sev actually sends me something to my wallet, which I found interesting actually, because he hasn't requested the wallet address from anybody. All right, who we got? We got Hyena, Battle to Rage, Go West, Gold Valkyrie, King of Crypto in the house. Welcome back, King. Chilios, 9A7A. Hey everyone. Behind 13, D Electronics, Physiology, Breakies, the list goes on and on. Nick Skull. Recovering from a cold at the moment. Oh no, but planning a San Fran party this weekend. Let's get it, King. Look forward to that. Alrighty, guys. So if you are, here's our booth. You are in the Austin area. Please go say hi to the our folks over our lovely colleagues at Sandstorm. Speaking of which, one of our new contests have just ended, guys. We had amazing entries. Amazing entries, guys. Amazing entries. I was blown away. You guys make me want to just rage quit Vox Edit. I'm dead serious. You guys are just so talented, so talented. I can't even keep up. I can't keep up. I don't even know how you guys come up with half the stuff that you guys come up with. But speaking of which, I want to point out one particular one that just came on today. I don't know if it was actually a submitted entry or he did it for fun. This was an entry made by Meta 7. By the way, do you guys hear the music, right? You guys hear the music today? I was able to get that configured up for you guys. Let me know if the volume is good on the music. If not, we can turn it up a little bit. So we're going to do Vox Edit series today. But we're going to do something interesting. I think we're going to do inverse kinematics today. I think we're going to do a little bit of inverse kinematics. I think that sounds exciting. Unless you guys want me to do something different. Voxel Thrasher in the house. What's up? So yeah, there's one particular one that I want to show you guys. Made by Meta 7. Of course, there was awesome builds. Right? And I think it was this one. I want to just quickly show it off. He calls it the Sandstorm God. It's like a particle builder. Yes, inverse kinematics via just stream. Yes, we're gonna do some inverse kinematics. I haven't touched this one myself in a while. Because I haven't been having the time to build as much as I like, honestly. In Vox Edit. So I wanna kind of step into Vox Edit and just, you know, show you guys what we can do in here with the inverse kinematics. All right, without further ado, let's get started, guys. Oh, announcement. So The first contest is over, right? That was over last night, I guess, 12 a.m. And so we're doing a Monday vote. We're doing a vote on Monday. Headed to another meeting, but I'll be in Austin later if y'all be there enough through the weekend. Possibly tonight if Seb gets back to me. Ooh, the electronics. Look forward to it. Send pictures, definitely. We will have another contest starting up. So if you guys don't remember, this contest had some pretty big prizes. We only had 39 votes. We only had 39 entries, guys. So we're gonna go through them. We're gonna check them for proof, and then we're gonna do a live voting session, which it's gonna be a bit different this time. But what I do recommend is if you have not seen the entries, start looking at the entries. Start looking at which ones are your favorites. I'm trying to find the actual. Yeah, there you go. Maybe we should pin these. Less than a week left. Let's take a look real quick. I know Oscom put it in here. The details of the entries. And if anybody has issues uploading or minting on the Sandstorm platform, let us know. Somebody, I haven't seen that entry yet. So the first place prize was 1,500 sand. Second place prize is 1,000 sand. Third place prize, 1,000 sand. Fourth place prize, 750 sand. Fifth place prize, 750 sand. Maybe we'll change it up a little bit, the price pools. But this can change from contest to contest. We will have another contest coming up, I think either tomorrow or the next day. So we can keep you guys building. What are inverse kinematics? That's a great question. We're gonna go into that right now. Yeah. Let's get started. So basically, guys, when you are animating, right? So let's take an object. Let's create a new asset. We're gonna call this live IK, right? IK stands for inverse kinematics. I'm gonna create a controller node just because that's what we're supposed to do, right? So there is keyframe animation, right? This is like just regular animation you guys are all familiar with and use, right? So if we have an asset, let's do a new VXM, call it, I don't know, block, right? And then maybe we can just make it something interesting so it's cool to look at. Right, maybe like maybe something like this, right? Cool. All right. So if you guys have any questions, please type them in the chat. We might not have Sode Sam in today. So if you guys want to get my attention for a question, you can write throw or question in the chat. And what that will do, that should do that to me. And I will know that you are trying to get my attention, okay? Or you could do throw. That could work too. That's one. Question gets like 10. Right? I haven't played with the studio. I want to get into immersive because animation makes it smoother. Exactly, Isiology, right? So that's what I want to show today. So the regular animation that you guys are familiar with, right? So I'm gonna call this like I guess block, right? And we're gonna make sure our pivot points are in place. We click on it to see our pivot point is currently on the bottom. I want it in the middle, so I do set to center, right? You always want to check this. Save, come down. Question, is that a new shirt? No, I wear the blue shirt on the Sandstorm streams. Where's the channel points at? There's no channel points in this channel. Max. So I'm gonna connect this to the block, and you can see the block is there, right? It's centered, it has a center pivot, it's facing the direction that it's supposed to. And if I want to animate this, let's say I want it to go up and down, we're gonna zoom out to the timeline, right? So in about let's say if we zoom it out, right? So in about half a second, I want this to kind of move up, right? And then in the end, I just want it to go down, and that's what we want to loop, right? So this is regular animation, right? This is just like keyframe animating. And then what'll happen is you'll see that the object will just repeat that, right? And you can do this for each of the elements, and you would have to do this for every object and every node and whatnot, right? So, and this can be doing animation curves, say. We're doing inverse kinematics, right? And animation curves is basically like the way the object moves, right? So like I can like do a fast or a slow pickup and then a fast down drop, right? So imagine it's like it's a hill, right? So it's like it goes up and it goes down, right? So smooth start, and usually the pickup is a slower, right? And the beginning quad is slower, right? So it's like if you do this, it'll be slow up and then it'll be bouncy. Don't forget to drop your questions for the team. Good morning. Yeah. All right, so these are just regular animations you can do with Vox Edit, right? What I want to go over today and walk you guys through is the inverse kinematics version of this, which is a little complex, right, with Vox Editor. And I want to do it with blocks. All right, I want to do it with blocks. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of do almost like a snake, right, or a dragon, right? So you guys probably seen that some of the stuff on the marketplace, right? For example, let's just show off one of them here, right? Where is that? Give me 1 second, right? So for example, you'll see that this dragon, the way the tail moves, this curve, right? This is probably done manually, right? Or any of these animations, they're done manually for each of the nodes, right? And inverse kinematics actually allows you to get away from that and just do it all in one. So I'm gonna try to take this slow and answer any questions. So we're gonna create block 1, right? I'm gonna create another block. I'm gonna call it block 2, and it's gonna be the same element. And then we're gonna create block 3. Man, I haven't done this in a while. We're gonna create a block 3. Okay. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to first check out the skeleton, right? If you click this, it gives you like the rig skeleton, right? You'll see when I move block 2, right? So let's move it up by 40, right? We'll move this one up by 42. Hold on. Or 32 actually. Let's do 32. Right? And then we'll move this one up by 64. Move it a little bit. Give it a little bit of space in between. Right? And then move this one up as well. Right? Wait, what's the name of the program? I missed where you do this. This is Vox Editor. This is Vox Editor. It's the same program that you guys make the animations from. Good morning, everybody. All right. Now, right, so what we're going to do, we're going to make the parent. Okay, we have to anchor. So these elements, in order for IK to work, right? So if I press IK right now, everything is going to break, right? It doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't do anything. So what we're going to do is we need to set an anchor point. All right, so we're going to set an anchor point, and we want that to be the anchor point. Okay. Man, I totally forgot how to do this. Hold on. And then what's going to happen is at the end, at the last node, right? This is the controller node. you want to drop a node, right? And that'll create an additional node. So you select it, you press drop node, it'll create this additional block. And you can unlink the VXM from that node, right? And now this node is no longer, it doesn't really do anything. It's just like a pushing mechanism. Getting rusty. I am getting rusty. I haven't looked at this for a while. Right? Let's just make sure we got this right. Easy to forget when you don't do it every day. That is so true, man. That is so true. Give me 1 second. Let me just figure this out real quick. If this is working when I do this. There you go. Okay. That's what I was doing wrong. All right. So you need to have them connected via child, right? So you need to have the controller. Inside the controller, you have the block, right? Now, right, I'm going to turn off IK for a second. I'm going to position this back to where it was, right? I'm going to get to block 2, position that down. Now, right, when I move this block, when I drop the node on the very last child, right? So imagine this is like a fist or the end of a tentacle or something. You take the block, right? When you press IK, you can now move the IK in position with all the other ones. You see that? You see how smooth that becomes? Now I don't really have to animate the every single node. Here's what I can do now, right? I can go to 1 second, right? I can say, okay, in 1 second, I want this to happen. Okay, I want this to happen. Okay, and then in 2 seconds, right? I want this to happen. Okay. So when we play that back, you'll see now that I have that animation. But what's going on is it's rotating. It's rotating exactly how it should because it doesn't know if it should be going the long way or the short way, right? So I wonder if we change this to say the long way rotation, that it'll go the other way around, right? Nope, it doesn't really have an effect. And I think that is because we've crossed over, right? And we don't have any constrictions. And constrictions is very important to inverse kinematics because that is the mechanism that allows the system to know which way it's allowed to go, right? So for example, let's do block 1. Here we have on the right side, we have something called roll range. When you press button, right, what's going to happen is you're going to see, I'm going to say 360 for this, right? Or try to see if that shows up. Let's bring that back a minute. And try to set the, you might want to also set the constraints before doing the animation. And that's one of the finicky things with inverse kinematics, right? You want to make sure you're doing this ahead of time, right? So we want to go ahead and delete this back to our original position. I'm going to select block 1, press the constraint, and I want the radius to be, let's say, 90 degrees, right? And you'll see a block come up here, right? You say 90 degrees, right? And what it's doing right now is it's saying that I wish it was making it visible. How do I? There you go. Okay, that's what I was looking for. All right, so when you add a constraint, you're gonna get this ball, okay? And this ball says, hey, I'm allowed to go anywhere around here as a rotational mechanism, right? And what you want to do is, right now, it's not really like an elbow, but it's more like a ball joint, right? So it can go any direction it wants, right? So let's test this out real quick. Let's press IK. When we press the block E3, right, we can go any direction we want, right? You see that white area? The white area travels where the white dot travels wherever I want it to, right? It can only go in the green though. It can't go any lower. Okay. So if I wanted to act like an elbow, right, what I gotta do is I gotta go to the block, right, and I gotta add another constraint and say, hey, I want you to be let's say 10 degrees, right? And then that you'll see that there's a pink there, and then the blue is actually in there too. So we want to change the position on that, make it, let's say 90 degrees, right? Now, right? Now, when I move the block IK, now I can't move that bottom part. You see, I can't move that bottom part left or right. I can only move it back and forth. You see? So if I turn it right, whether it's right, give me 1 second. See, I could only go, and then there's like a constraint there. So that's the way that works. So when I'm doing my animation, right, let's say 1 second, right, and I select the block, I can move like this, right? That way I know that I can't really do any Z action. Right, and you always got to move from the drop node. You can't really move. And the reason why we're having like this action here is we haven't put any constraints on this part of the mechanism. Right? So if we have the animation, right? That's the animation we did for the 1 second, right? And then if I want to do the second, let's say I want the second to come here, right? And then I want the third second to kind of do this, right? So now without editing all these different nodes, right? I have a smooth animation. Yeah, so you got to also add the restrictions where required, right? So let's undo a few things, right? Let's go back to our main point, right? So we have our block, right? We have our block. I'm going to move here. I don't know why it doesn't show sometimes. It does that. It's like a bug, guys, right? Sometimes it does act weird. You might want to close it out and bring it back sometimes. Right? See, now it's back. I didn't do anything. I did the same exact thing. Sometimes it does bug out. So you want to make sure, you save, come out, come back in. Guessing the constraint. Well, you can do any type of movement, Litonori, right? So I can add another plus here, and I say, hey, I want to go also 45 degrees this way, right? See, now the only path that I'm making, right? And I can do a position from that, right? I can go, hey, I want another one where I want the position to be 45 from there, right? Or let's say 75 for some reason, right? And then we move it 10 to 40 degrees this way, right? So they're connecting to each other, right? It's building off each other, right? It starts off the center and it builds off each other. Yeah, sure thing, Box Trasher. So now that's our only range of motion, and you can make the radius. So the radius is where your ball joint is. You can make it thinner once you're ready, right? So that way you have a very constricted movement, right? So now it'll still move, right? The inverse kinematics mechanism will still move, but it won't have any of the when I'm in that zone where the line is, right? Say right there, I can't really move too much, right? The part that's moving is not really the bottom part. It's the one that's in the middle, right? And you can put pressure on it, right, to bend it. Same thing for the other one, right? And then if you repeat this on, and you can like kind of pull and drag, right? If you repeat this for all the other blocks, right? So for example, if we repeat this for block number 2, right? And you say, hey, I want 90 degrees radius. And you might want to just hide it to see your constraint. Just hide the block. Or you can start without blocks. Yeah, true. Even the safe ass disappears from the mild menu. Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. So, now that we have the second area, right? I want to make this again, let's say, I want to put another restriction on this and say, hey, 10 degrees radius, right? I want to put a 10 degree radius on this, and then I want to add another one, and then I want to say 90 yaw, right? Oops. We have, oh, it's because I'm having the direction, because building off the 45 degree. Something weird is happening, or something visually weird is happening, but it's doing the right thing. Okay, so now when we save, does this channel YouTube have full tutorial? I do have a full tutorial on this that needs to be updated, Little Nori, on my specific channel. So you can check that out. But this is kind of like a live session that we're doing for you guys to show you what this is possible, right? So you see this now. We have the mechanism coming in, and you can imagine like building sort of a tentacle or mechanism or elbow, and you can keep building on this, right? You can keep building on this. I want to see, let me just save this for a second. I want to see if I have my other file with the IK tutorial. Yeah, I do have another example here, right, where I was doing the same thing, and these animations were just done by a single joint point, right? So if you go to IK, so it was done. Oh, not this one. I think it was this one. Oh yeah, so I had the joint in the middle, right? So now let's turn this off. And now you can see that I want to actually show it without covering it, right? You can see that I'm moving and it's pulling and pushing from the tips, right? This will actually be helpful when I create my first game in the Maker. Looks like you can do some really cool wave patterns. You can do flags, you can do wave patterns. These are how I would say the templates were originally created, right? It is a little bit confusing initially. So I'm trying to find a easy way or easy examples to actually show how this mechanism really works. Yeah, you can definitely do like tentacle-like, right? You can definitely do like tentacle-like animation. And yeah. So let's remove this node. I don't remember this specific file, but it's the same setup essentially, right? So this node, we dropped it, I guess, to on the second one, right? So here we put joint 1, joint 2, joint 3, and we put a tip as an additional one, right? We put a tip as an additional marker, and I think, let's see how that will work, right? It's not connected to it. I think we need to do it on this one. Yeah, it's really finicky sometimes. Doesn't really want to behave, but I do want to show you guys that if you can get this to work for you, right? Configuration, the initial configuration is really important, right? So right now you see that it's not working, right? And that's because IK is turned off. So when you turn on IK, right, you'll have the animation. You have the animation capabilities that you want, and you can do anything you want, right? So if you you can keep adding on to this, right? So if I delete this node, for example, and I just duplicate it, right, and say call it block 4, right? And this is more important for bigger builds that you will be doing in the future, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's duplicate that again. Make this block 5. And put that as a child underneath that. Thank you, Sparky. Yeah, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something different for today's stream, right? And then I'm going to drop a node on this specific one, right? Oh, as soon as I put the thing, right? As soon as I put the mechanism, you see that? You can't do that. Oh, we have to unlink this, guys, right? So this is the controller mechanism. When you're animating, you cannot touch any of these blocks to animate, right? This thing on top of the controller. Thank you, King of. If you guys have questions, this is what I'm for. This is what I'm here for, right? So, for example, right now, I have no constrictions other than the ones that I put in, right? So, if I want like a bend, right, I'm just moving this section, right? So let's say this is, let's say we do a quick animation, right? Let's do a quick animation. Even the fastest animator can't go as fast as what we're gonna do here, right? So if you wanted to do this animation with 4 or 5 blocks, right? And you want to kind of imagine this thing as like a kind of like a pulling and a pushing force, right? Kind of like you have a pulling force, like imagine you're pulling on a rope, right? This invisible box that you have on top of your controller that's controlling the whole rig is pulling the whole thing, is trying to pull the whole thing apart, right? So no matter what I do with it, it'll just follow that path as if it's a straight line. If I start letting the rope in, it'll bend in based on the constraint settings, right? So if I wanted to do a quick animation, right, where it starts off here, right, and right, I'm not going to animate any of the single nodes. I'm going to go to second one and I'm going to be like, hey, let's do this, right? And then we're going to go here and let's do that, right? And then we're going to rotate to get a better view. And then we're going to go to 3 and we're going to do this, right? And then we're going to go to second 4 and then we're going to do this, right? Because that's the constraints that we can go. And then we're going to go to second 5 and we're going to do that, right? So let's say we do that. And then many are interested in kinematics. Yes. Don't forget to drop your questions, guys. And then if I say, let's say if I copy this one from block A and just put it and paste it there, you notice that I think we broke it. Yeah, we broke it because you're supposed to bring it there, right? That's how it's supposed to work. It saves how it is, right? It saves how it is. So you can't just copy paste it. Okay. So now when we look at this animation, right? It's like, ooh, right? How long will that take you to do it manually? Right? So, definitely food for thought. You guys are interested in type of animations, and I think you will soon, right? I think you will soon. Right, so we're bringing it back up, right? We're trying to make sure it understands the path we want it to go. Are we going to be able to make it? I don't know. Let's try. I think it's because we're too far away. We just need more pressure. There you go. And then we bring it there, right? So now we have a full looping animation. That's going there, and it's going back, and then it's coming back. You see that? That's very snake-like. And that took minutes, right? That took minutes. Only one anchor point for each animation. There could be multiple anchor points, Maxi. It really depends on the creature or the thing that you're working. Like if it's a spider, you can have multiple anchor points. And you know, if it's like a human, I think we did a human at some point. I will be releasing inverse kinematic templates that you guys can just, you know, use and play with. Dr. Octopus. I mean, so many ideas, guys. Doc Ock, baby. All right. Do you guys have any questions about this that I could possibly answer? So all an anchor does is basically it keeps the animation anchored on the bottom, right? That it doesn't judge or move, right? That's where it's stable, right? The only reason it's turning is because the anchor point is actually the controller, right? We made the controller. If we made the anchor point the block, right? I don't know if it will take effect after it has been animated, right? That's one of the things you guys have to understand. You can't make the changes after it's animated, right? You got to redo the anchor point, right? So if I were to delete this, right? Go to my block, delete this, right? Ideally, what should happen is, you see the anchor point is now, since I made this one an anchor, right? I made this specific one an anchor. Now, the inverse kinematics doesn't want to move that block, right? It does not want to move that block. Now, another thing you could do is you could do something interesting and say, hey, I also want this one to have an effector node, right? So what that will do is that'll put another block here, right? And now you have two nodes. You have two nodes that you can sort of like a you know, like an action figure almost, right? Which you can push and pull, right? And obviously if there's a constraint there, it's not going to affect it. Right, and we might need an additional layer in between to do this, right? So if we had, I think we need to do an empty one in between and do an effector from there. So let's do a child node, say test, right? And put it inside block 3. And then do a drop node on this, as I remember. Okay, so now we should have one option there, and then we should have another movable option here. Let's try this. Oh, that's another thing, guys. If you break the hierarchy, that's a good point. I'm glad that happened. If you break the hierarchy when you do a node, right? If you change any of the controller nodes here, the mechanism breaks, so you have to do the blocks over again. So if you add a new drop node, you do have to do it over again, right? So now we have two nodes. You see that? We have two nodes, one that's here, And this should work as well, right? See? Now we have 2 nodes that are working. All right, so you have a node that's controlling this 2 blocks, and you have another node controlling this mid section, sort of. You see that? And they kind of work hand in hand, right? And careful not to hit IK. There is a normal animated asset. There is a normal animated asset. Yeah, you don't want to touch the assets. You want to control the nodes, right? And like I said, if you make changes to the hierarchy, you animate it, right? Let's say you animate it, you make changes to the hierarchy. These drop nodes will break, and you just have to do new drop nodes. And you could do an amazing thing, right, with it. You can push these blocks out more if you wanted to. Like, you can get out of IK and say, hey, I want this to be longer, or I want this to be here, right? You make sure you do that in 0 seconds. And now, you know, when you press IK, the reason it moves is because of constraints and where these were placed, right? So if these are placed, the blocks or the joints react to these drop nodes, right? They react to these drop nodes. Messes up things real good. Definitely could. So yeah, but I think you guys should practice with it. I think it's nice to learn, right? So I can like move this here. I get out of IK, I move this effector node, and I always remove the node from it. And now I can just, you know, bloop, bloop. I'll do my own sound effects now. I don't know if Wayward's in here. All right, and the reason why this section isn't moving is 1, because we made this into an anchor. Okay, we're gonna remove that anchor. And 2, yeah, there you go. You see that? We removed that anchor from the first block. Now we got some more control here, and we got some additional control here, right? And then you see, even if I'm pushing this forward, it's not going to move the block because of the position of this block, right? The physical position. So you got to come out of IK, move it to, you know, your base position if you want it to be closed, right? And you don't want to animate. You do not want to animate through the assets, guys. Never want to animate through the assets. Because ideally what it's doing is it's pretty much moving the assets for you, and it's saving those positions of those assets, right? So for example, let's do a reset on this and just be like, you know, let's do reset, rotational reset, right? And then we'll do reset, rotational reset, and then when I do IK and IK again, right, you'll see it's all trying to go where these blocks were, right? All right, so now we have a smooth, straight thing. When I move the timeline and I move, let's say, block 1 first, you'll notice that only the 2 sections are going to move, right? And then when I go to the animation, that's exactly what happens, right? Only the parts affected will move. So each anchor point is a child of a previous one. I'm assuming they can be arranged in a skeletal menu. Yes, right? So if I wanted to create a chest piece, right, the chest piece would be the only anchor point, okay? And then you would have 2, you would, like, this would be the chest, and then this would be arm 1, and then you would have like the elbow, blah, blah, blah. And then you would just pretty much duplicate this, right? So if I duplicate this, saying, let's say arm 2, right? Right now the whole hierarchy is broken, so I got to redo my effector nodes, right? But my arm 1, I'm going to come out of IK. I'm going to move it here, right? And then maybe I'm going to position it a little different, okay? So if I do my effector node for this, right, at this stage, oops, you got to do it on 0 seconds, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 1 second. Yeah, this is one of the pains of this. You want to make sure you have your positioning and your skeleton right before you start. It just makes things easier. So we're at position 1, right? We're gonna delete all this, and then we have the arm, right, that we just created. We're gonna move it to, let's say, the right, and then we're gonna rotate it. Okay, and then let's say this one, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do it the other way, right? You'll notice that you have two. It's both anchoring from the main controller node here, right? So when I do block effector node for this one, and I do unlink, right? And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to select this block. I'm going to do drop node, right? And then I'm going to do unlock. Oops, I did it on the wrong one. I have to do it on this one. And then when I'm moving, this one only, oops, let's see if that's going to, it might not work actually. Oh, because I don't have the IK on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn on IK. All right, you see, this one is forcing these red and blue lines are pretty much the force, and these red and green lines is pretty much the force for that one, right? So now, right, I can move this, right? I can now move this, and this one controls this, or it should at least. Why are you not controlling it? It might be a restriction issue. I messed around with it too much. But ideally, you see the movement there, right? Oh yeah, it is definitely a constriction issue. Hold on, let me fix this. Give me 1 second. Let's do that again. Do a drop node. Oops. Drop node. Try if this works. Ah. And that's how you mess up an IK. But yeah, that is definitely possible. I see the movement here, but for some reason I broke something somewhere. Yeah, this is kind of a pretty bad situation where you see the movement but it's not moving, right? And I don't really know why it does that sometimes, right? Imagine, like, I bet you if I could like go back in and redo it, it'll work. It's good you're making mistakes too. We'll learn from it. Yeah, sometimes, like, right, if I try now, for example, I swear it'll work. It's not me all the time. I mean, I make mistakes, don't get me wrong. But sometimes, right, I see it moving, but it's not affecting the nodes, and I wonder if it's because the way we did the other one, we duplicated it. But I definitely do want to give more detailed information on this. So now I know it's gonna work. I know it's gonna work now, right? Yeah, see? So when you're having multiple ones, there are some finicky things that happen with it. And you just want to keep testing it. Alright, good guys. So yeah, I just wanted to give this little introduction to inverse kinematics. Show you guys something different in Vox Edit that maybe you really didn't have the time to see or tune in or watch any of the videos. It's a good thing to practice before hitting for a live project for sure. 9A, 7A. And I think this is a very, important tool that is not utilized yet, right? And I've seen you guys make some phenomenal things, right, with it. without it, right? And I can't imagine once, you know, you figure out how it all works for your designs. And I still don't have 100% understanding over it. And, you know, it wasn't really documented anywhere. This was, if you guys remember, for those who know, nobody really made an inverse kinematics tutorial. And, you know, it was just us practicing and trying to find out how it actually functioned. So, you know, until there is an official how-to from Sandbox or VoxEdit that says, hey, you know, this is what will happen if you do this. This is what will happen if you do that. It is pretty much us trying to figure out how it should work, right? Or what the possibility of the way it should work. Right. Hope that was educational, guys. Hope you guys had fun. Yeah, don't show Meta 7 any of this stuff. He's on fire as it is. It's still not here yet, but it gets the job done. Thank you for a great tutorial. Definitely watching this later. Thank you, VStream. I do have another video. Like I said, it's a lot longer. That I do walk into some details. Be good to add this to the VoxEdit Academy doc. Yeah, they don't have this information on there. Like I said, this is just me trying to figure out how IK works, because I was very interested in it myself. Remember when programs used to come with massive instruction manuals? Yeah. I know, right? Says I am Bengali. This is quality, bruh. Thank you so much, Mr. Winning. Alright, guys. That pretty much wraps us up for today. Don't forget to tune in to our show tomorrow. We do have some guests. And don't forget to look at our builders stuff, guys, on sandstorm.nft.co. Let's see. We do have... I didn't know this was live here. If you want to see what guys are, who's submitting what before the, I don't know if this is not loading because I'm sharing or what's going on with this, but we do have the, if you go to the Explore section, you'll see people submitting their gods, and all the submissions should already be on Twitter and on Discord. So take a look. We have 39 submissions. That means you pretty much have a 10% chance of winning, I think, right? So 10% of you will definitely win something. I think that's correct. Or actually, maybe a little bit more, because I think we're doing 5th position too. And the first 3 people will get their asset and second asset to be on the second Sandstorm collection. If you guys don't remember, we have the Sandbox collection that was released in March, and we are going to be doing a April collection as well. I should actually get the date book. Oh, they have VoxEdit winners here. Interesting. So where's our collection? There it is. Sandstorm. You'll see Nervex's Bria's, he's in the chat. We have Sparky's assets in here. Sandstorm Duck, the Astral Pilot. I think this one's my favorite, honestly. This and this one is pretty much my favorite. But you too can be on here with your creations in the upcoming release. So definitely watch out for that. And we're doing voting a little different this time. It's gonna be a gallery pretty much, and inside the gallery you vote for whatever you want. So yeah, and it's gonna be open for I don't know, some amount of time, and you go in there and vote. The person with the most votes, I guess, throughout the stream, will win first, second, third, and I think fourth and fifth. Let's double check. We should really pin these. There you go. Yeah. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Top 3 builders will be able to create 2 assets. So get ready for the next. Get ready for the next competition, guys. It should be released soon. And I want to close off by saying thank you for tuning in with me today. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you are tuned in for tomorrow's show. Also, after months of building, VX is launching on March 25th. This is our Octoheads partner. They're also in the social hub if you guys haven't seen them as well. Alrighty, guys. Hope that was fun. I know I did have fun showing that off to you guys. The stream was interesting. Thanks. Thank you so much. Alright, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy your day or night or evening. Have a good one. Ciao.